I'll give you a quick look at it here. I started to tear it apart, but I'm going to redo the stock on it. It's pretty beat up. So I want to redo that, and it's got some rust on it too. You can see there. So I'm probably going to clean this thing up and re-blue it. I'll do that fore end there too. You can see it's had some use, so I just want to give you a quick shot of it before I get too far into it, and then maybe I'll record a couple of clips along the way as it progresses, and then at the end I'll show you the final, and then I'll also, at the end of this video, I'll do a tear down and reassembly for you, just so you guys can see, since I had already started on it here before I started recording. I'll be back in a bit. Okay, I'm out here in the wood shop now at the workbench, and I'm going to start on this gun stock. Want to strip it down to refinish it. And instead of just, going right at it with the sandpaper, got one of these scrapers here, and we'll go over and scrape most of the finish off of it first, and smooth it out, and then we'll finish it up with sandpaper. So I just want to give you a little bit of footage of doing this here. So this works pretty good. It saves a lot of time with the sandpaper, and it saves a lot of sandpaper. So it's just this piece of thin metal here. It's got a burr on the edge, and you can just use that to scrape with, and it does a pretty good job and removes that pretty fast. And I'll just take a look at it here when I get a little more off. And you can see how fast it gets you down to that bare walnut. I already did most of the other side, you can see there. So, but I'll work at this, and I'll be back with you in a bit. Okay guys, I've already blued the barrel. I polished it up and then did a cold blue on it. I just got it oiled and letting it set. Now I started on this. There was well, hopefully you've seen, I'm not sure how good pictures were, but there was some pitting on it. So I took some 240 grit and I took it all the way down to get the pitting out of it, and I think I pretty much got that. So now I'm going to hit it with some 400 and then work my way on up till I get a pretty nice shine on it before I blue it. So I'll be back in just a bit here and show you what it looks like after the 400. And there it is after the 400 grit sandpaper. As you can see, it's starting to get a little shine to it. Now I'll move on up to 600 grit. Okay, I went ahead and sanded it with 600 grit, 800 grit, 1000 grit, 2000 grit, and 3000 grit. So it's got a pretty good polish on it now, as you can see. So I'm going to try my hand at cold bluing this thing and see how it turns out. I'll be right back. Okay, so I heated this thing up a little bit. Nothing real hot. Metal tends to be cold, so I like to just warm it up a little bit. And then I've got a piece of steel wool here that I degreased it. I sprayed it down with some brake clean and then let it dry. When you get this stuff out of the package, it has a little bit of oil in it to keep it from rusting, so you wanna clean that up good. And we'll see what this does. Put a little on there. You see it's turning that blue already. Metal's a little hotter than I thought I got it, but it's fine. I hope I don't run out of this. Now, supposed to leave this on like 30 seconds and then rinse it off with some cold water. I usually leave it on a little longer than that. And then I'll cart it off with my carting wheel and see where it's at. And then if you want it darker, you just do the process again, which I have to go in to my gun room and see if I got some more of this bluing. If you can see, that's darkened it up quite a bit. Just got water in this bottle here. I'll spray it off. Okay, I'm going to take it over to my carting wheel now and cart it off. If you don't have a carting wheel, you can use some 4/0 steel wool. And then I'll show you what it looks like, and we'll see. Probably going to have to do some more cuts. Be right back. Okay, I got her all completed, guys. Got it all put back together. It turned out really nice. I'm real pleased with it. I think in the beginning of this video I said I've got this old Remington shotgun. It's not a Remington. It reminds me of my Remingtons. Is probably why I said that. It's a Smith & Wesson Model 1000M, as you've probably seen in the title of the video. It does have the 3-inch chamber, which I I think is kind of rare. I don't think too many of these had the 3-inch chamber. If you know anything about these, let me know in the comments, because I'm having a hard time finding out too much on it. I've got a serial number. I'd like to know the date that it was manufactured. I know they made them from like the mid-70s to the mid-80s, I think. But it'd be nice to know when this particular one was made. As you can see, the stock turned out pretty nice there. It was beat up pretty bad. I did end up doing the bluing process about 3 times on the receiver there. And it's not quite as dark as the barrel, but I kind of like it. I like the looks of it. And that may have something to do with the higher polish that I put on it, before I blued it. I'm not sure. But the fore end turned out real nice there. I used, I didn't get any video of the finish that I put on it. But what I used was this True Oil gun stock finish. I really like this stuff. I've used it before. It's a process. I mean, it takes a little time. You basically rub it on with your fingers. There's videos online showing the process on YouTube if you want to look it up. But you get a real thin coat on there, and then you let it set up until it's dry, and then you scuff it down with some 4/0 steel wool, and then coat it again. And you just basically keep doing that until you get the desire that you want. So you can stop at a satin look if you want, or you can take it on up. This is more of a glossy finish. I believe the original finish on this was a polyurethane, but I mean, this is shiny enough for me. I kind of like it. And if you don't want it this shiny, and it turns out this shiny, you can always take some steel wool over it and kind of dull it back down a little bit. But I'm real pleased with this. It turned out nice. You can see all that pitting is gone. I had this thing tore down pretty good, and it was a bear to really get it all back together. I will do a clip here showing you how to field strip it, but I'm not going to go as far into it as I did for this restoration. But I'll show you what you need to know. But anyway, if you like the video, please hit that like button. That really helps me out. And if you'd subscribe, I'd really appreciate that too. Thank you. Okay, we'll start by removing this cap. Comes off, and your fore end slides off, and your barrel comes right off. So that was pretty simple. Then you can get in here to clean. I really don't want to pull. I could pull the bolt out. If you did want to pull the bolt out, it's pretty easy. You just pull this real hard, and this will pop out. Then there's a pin right here that you drive out. This ring will slide off. Then you can slide the whole thing out, and you can get in to clean the bolt assembly. It's kind of a bear getting these arms and everything back in there. There are videos on YouTube that show you how to do that, but I'm not going to do it here. But it's pretty simple. Get apart. It's getting it back in that's a little bit tougher. Then to pull your trigger assembly out, you've got 2 pins here, and they're different sizes, so you can't get them mixed up. And normally you just push those out, sometimes it takes a little tap. And then it pulls your trigger assembly out, and you can clean that up. Now if you notice, this is in the cock position right now. You can pull the trigger, it doesn't do anything. This little lever has to be forward, and then when you pull the trigger, it releases. So when this goes back in order to get these holes lined up properly, you have to put it into where this is seated in the bottom and pushed forward. Okay, this little lever right here, spring loaded. I'm not sure what you call this, but and then in here, if you want to clean this, mine was pretty dirty, you pull that little piston off of there, and then there's a spring inside of there, your trigger spring, and that was pretty gunked up, so you want to look at that. But I had a little trouble getting it back together, so what I did was cock it, and then set it down in there, and make sure you slide it back to where it's pushing that lever up. And see there, it popped out. You gotta get that hole pretty well perfectly lined up. And then try to get that pin started in there. Once it started, there we go. Now the front one's pretty easy. Once that back one's in, just line up the hole and then just push right in. There you go. Now, if you're having trouble with the gun cycling, one of the problems is this gas chamber in here. There's like two little pistons in here. Well, the one here, this popped right out, I think. There's the upper one. And the bottom one is held in with this pin here that holds that ring in place. So when you pop that pin out and pull that ring off, you can remove both of those pistons and clean those up real good, and clean the inside of this tube really good, because that's what causes a lot of your cycling problems. And then there's a little seal on this lower piston. There's a, I think I was reading that it's like a little O-ring, that sometimes that needs replaced, or that entire part needs replaced if you're having issues. But but just for normal cleaning, this is as far as I would go, unless I was having trouble. And you slide your barrel back on. Then your fore end, and then your cap. And that's pretty much it, guys. It's all back together and ready to use. So thanks for watching. If you got any questions, I'll try to answer them for you. Just leave them in the comments. Any information you know, like I said before, about these guns, I'd appreciate to hear it. Especially if you can tell me what year this thing was made. That serial number there is FS83030. I'd like to know what year it's from. So, okay. Thanks a lot.